I moved into this apartment complex last month. Nothing fancy, just a small one-bedroom on the third floor of an aging building in a quieter part of town. The kind of place where neighbors nod politely in the hallway and mind their own business. Except for him. Apartment 3B. My neighbor across the hall. Middle-aged, balding, thick glasses. Always wearing the same gray cardigan like it was stitched to his skin. The first time I saw him, he smiled too wide and held eye contact a little too long. "Welcome," he said. "These walls, they remember everything." I laughed awkwardly. Thanks." At first, I thought he was just socially awkward. But little things started happening. The first night I unpacked, I heard breathing. Not from my room, from inside the wall. I paused my music and pressed my ear to the drywall. Inhale. Exhale. Slow. Steady. I told myself it was the pipes. Old buildings make weird noises, right? But then I started noticing things. My phone would be at 10% when I swore I charged it overnight. My toothbrush, always slightly damp before I used it. One night I came home from work and found my bedroom window cracked open. I never opened that window. I live on the third floor. I changed the locks. I stopped sleeping, and I started watching him. He always seemed to be waiting, just standing at his peephole. I caught glimpses of his shadow under the door, unmoving, listening. One night, around 2:30 a.m., I heard shuffling in the hallway. I peeked through my peephole and saw him crouching by my door, doing something with his hands. I yanked the door open. He looked up, startled, like a raccoon caught in a trash can. His hands were pressed flat against the wood. "Sleepwalking," he muttered, then hurried off. Sleepwalking? At my door? I wanted to move, but rent was cheap, and I figured I was overreacting. Until last week. I dropped my keys behind the radiator and had to pull it from the wall. That's when I found it. A hole. Not just a crack, an actual carved-out space, big enough to fit a person's head. I shined my flashlight into it, and my stomach twisted. On the other side was a crawl space, about 4 feet wide, full of dust, old wrappers, and something worse. A mattress, and Polaroids. Dozens of them. Of me. Sleeping. I backed away so fast I scraped my hands. I don't know how long I sat there, staring, trying not to vomit, trying to understand what kind of person would do this. I called the cops. They came. They knocked on 3B. Empty. Clean. Like he'd never lived there. But he had. The landlord swore he'd signed a lease 5 years ago. Except, get this, no rent payments. Not one. No bank trail. No emergency contact. No forwarding address. Just a name on a lease. The cops left. Said they'd look into it. I haven't slept since. And last night, I heard it again. Breathing. Right behind the wall. Only this time, it stopped when I held my breath. Because whoever it was breathing with me. I didn't go to work the next day. I couldn't. I kept staring at that hole behind the radiator, at the narrow crawl space that connected my apartment to whatever hell was hiding behind the drywall. I wanted to seal it up, forget it existed. But I couldn't stop thinking about the Polaroids. How did he take them? Why me? And where the hell did he go? Around 3 a.m., I grabbed a flashlight and slid the radiator aside again. I stared into the tunnel. Cold air seeped from inside, carrying a smell I still can't explain. Something like rotting wood and wet newspaper. I told myself I'd just look. 5 seconds. That's it. But once I got down on all fours and pushed myself in, the tunnel seemed to pull me forward. Dust caked my hands. I could barely breathe. My shoulder scraped something rough. Insulation? No. Carpet. Carpeted walls. I reached the mattress. It was stained. The Polaroids were gone. That's when I noticed it. The hole kept going. So I followed it. The tunnel turned left, then sloped down. I don't know how long I crawled. My flashlight started to flicker. I should have turned back. Then I saw something that stopped me cold. Another opening. Another apartment. Except it wasn't empty. There were candles inside, dim, flickering. Wax pooled across the hardwood like blood. In the center of the room was a wooden chair, and strapped to it was a mannequin. No, not a mannequin. A body. It looked mummified. Skin clung to bones like paper. Eyes wide open, dried out like raisins. Pinned to its chest was a Polaroid of me. I scrambled backward, hit my head, and almost passed out. That's when I heard something. Movement. In the tunnel behind me. I swung the flashlight around and saw him. My neighbor. Only it wasn't really him anymore. His face was caked in grime, lips split and bleeding, eyes bulging like he hadn't slept in years. He crawled fast, like a spider. Silent. I screamed and kicked back toward my apartment. The crawl space seemed to go on forever. Just as I reached the hole in my wall, something grabbed my ankle. I spun around and saw his hand. Thin, long fingers, nails cracked and black. He hissed, "Don't leave me in here." I kicked until he let go, pulled myself out, slammed the radiator back over the hole, and I ran. I don't live there anymore. I didn't take anything with me. I didn't even tell the landlord. I just got in my car and left. But 2 nights ago, at my new apartment, I found a Polaroid under my pillow. Me, sleeping, in this bed. I left the apartment 3 weeks ago. New city, new place, burner phone, fake name on the lease. But that Polaroid under my pillow, it ruined everything. I called the cops again, showed them the picture, told them everything, from the tunnel to the body in the chair. They looked at me like I was making it up. They ran a background check on my old neighbor's name. It didn't exist, not even in archived records. I started questioning my own sanity, until 2 nights ago. I got a call at 3:09 a.m. No caller ID. I answered, heart racing. All I heard was breathing. The same pattern. Slow. Steady. Like whoever it was lying in bed right next to me. Then a voice whispered, "Do you remember the walls?" I haven't slept since. I bought a crowbar. I've started checking behind every vent, under every floorboard, behind every mirror. And I found something yesterday in the closet of my new place. A panel, screwed into the wall, painted over. I pried it open and stared inside. Another tunnel. This one was wider, lined with soundproof foam and wires. A trail of muddy footprints led into the dark. I followed them. I don't know what's wrong with me. I should have called someone, but I didn't. I couldn't. Something about those tunnels, they mess with your mind. You forget how long you've been in there. You start thinking someone's behind you even when you're alone. I walked for what felt like hours. Then I reached a fork. 2 tunnels. One had a red string stretched across it, cut in the middle. The other had markings on the wall. Words, scratched in with fingernails. He's not the only one. That's when I heard whispering. All around me. Not in one voice, but dozens. Some laughed. Some cried. One just repeated, "Behind the mirror. Behind the mirror. Behind the mirror." I turned and ran. I don't remember how I got out. I collapsed in my living room, covered in dirt and blood that wasn't mine. And on my coffee table, another Polaroid. But this time it wasn't of me. It was a photo of a mirror. My bathroom mirror. And taped to the bottom was a note. "We told you not to move." I didn't sleep. Couldn't. I just sat there staring at the mirror in my bathroom, that cheap rectangle of glass that suddenly felt like a door. It looked normal, but I knew it wasn't. The Polaroid proved they were watching again. That morning, I took the mirror off the wall. Or tried to. It wouldn't budge. I slipped a knife behind the edge and started prying. It cracked, and that's when I heard it. From behind the mirror. Click, 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 like someone tapping their teeth together. Slow, methodical. I backed up. My hands were shaking. Then the mirror shattered. From the inside, a hole gaped in the wall. Not drywall, concrete, split clean down the middle. Beyond it was a tunnel, narrow, made of brick and iron, lit by small red bulbs strung along the ceiling like Christmas lights from hell. I almost ran. I should have, but something moved inside. Not a person, something crawling. It had no face, just a stretched layer of skin where eyes and a mouth should have been. It moved like it knew the place, like it was used to squeezing through these holes, like it lived here. I froze. It didn't speak, just kept dragging itself closer, arms folding in on themselves like they weren't attached right. I slammed the bathroom door shut and jammed the dresser against it. It banged once, then stopped. I called the police. Again, they found nothing, not even the broken mirror, like someone cleaned it all up before they arrived. I tried showing them the Polaroid, but it was gone too. Everything gone. That night, I got another phone call. Same number. Same breathing. But this time, the voice didn't whisper. It said, "You've seen too much. Now come home." I threw my phone in the trash, but it rang again. From under my bed, I lifted the mattress, and there it was. My phone. Another Polaroid was taped to the screen. It was a picture of me, standing in my bathroom, taking off the mirror. I left. Again. New apartment. Different state. I stayed in motels for weeks. Slept in my car. Told myself I was done. No more tunnels. No more mirrors. No more Polaroids. Then, one night, I checked into a cheap roadside inn. Room 14. Nothing special. Just a bed, a lamp, a TV bolted to the wall, and a mirror. Not again. But this one was different. Smaller. Round. Still, I checked behind it. It came off easily. No tunnel this time. Just bricks. I breathed for the first time in weeks, until I saw what was carved into them. "Welcome back." I ran to the front desk, asked the clerk how long this place had been open. He blinked at me and said, "This place has been closed for years." I bolted, drove for hours, slept at a rest stop. I woke up with a Polaroid on my chest. Me, standing at the motel desk, talking to no one. That's when I knew I had to find the source. I drove back to my first apartment building. It had been condemned, boarded up. I broke in through the back alley, climbed to the third floor, flashlight in one hand, crowbar in the other. I found the old hole behind the radiator. Still there, still open, and I crawled in, one last time. The tunnel was longer now, wider. I walked for hours, past old photographs pinned to the walls, faces of people I recognized. A barista from my favorite coffee shop, my old gym teacher, my mom. I reached a chamber, massive, like a bunker beneath the city. Dozens of tunnels branched from it, some labeled with city names, others with symbols I couldn't read. In the center was a machine, covered in wires and screens. Polaroids lined every inch of it. Thousands of faces. People sleeping, eating, crying, watching, always watching. And sitting in front of it was him, my neighbor. But his skin was gray now, wax-like. He didn't blink. "Why?" I asked. He turned slowly, his neck cracking. "Because you looked," he said. The screens behind him turned on, everyone showing me. In real time. Different angles. Different moments. Past and present. "You can't leave once you're part of it," he whispered. "You're in the system now." I turned to run, but there was no tunnel behind me anymore. Only a wall. Solid. Cold. Sealed. I'm not writing this on my laptop. I don't have one anymore. I'm not even typing. I'm whispering this through a vent. Because I know someone's on the other side. And maybe, if you're reading this, you look too.